I'm just wondering what you think about power of standing on a point. Let me explain. So let's say sometimes instead of me telling you to believe me, sometimes I might tell you, why don't you come and stand on this location, GPS location, for example, and I tell you, look from here. And then when I tell you to look from here, there are things that you're going to see. And think about this way. Some things are not about agreeing or disagreeing. So let's say believe in Christ, okay? Which you really disbelieve. And think about this. What would happen if you would stand in a situation? Sorry, I'm worried. Give me just a second. So what
The
would you say?
accuracy of historical claims aren't like vantage dependent.
So what I'm saying is, some things are not about agreeing and disagreeing. So let's say we're friends. We go out on a field, and I climb this hill, and I look from the hill, and I tell you, hey, come up here. Let me show you something. And then you tell me I disagree, or you say I agree, and it just doesn't make sense sometimes if it's a situation like that. So if we would look at the idea of Christ as a point from which we need to look at the world, there might be things that you might see, even in the evolution, which are not possible to see otherwise. Let's compare it to, and we call it belief, but we do it very often in the movies. Let's say we go and watch Harry Potter. And when we go and watch Harry Potter movie, what happens is we kind of start to believe that there is this magical school and that people gonna fly and all those stuff. But if we disbelieve, if we go to the movie and kind of say, oh, this is not possible, Harry Potter was just a really small kid, just a regular guy who couldn't fly, we will never understand and see the movie, and we will never understand the points that the movie is going to make. We can actually, and we always do, when we go into the movies, we do that. We take this perspective, hold this perspective. From that perspective, without any doubt, we observe the story, and only then the idea of the story can come to our mind. Without that, reading the Christ story as if it's just a good guy who did that and that, it just doesn't make sense. You don't watch Spider-Man that way, right? So if you would once just try for this conversation, I don't know, you wouldn't, but if you would just once try and think, what would happen if I believed in it and read it that way? Like really, 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 really believed.
So what I should do is believe the claim before I start reading more about the claim, and then that will prove it.
Well, yeah, no, it's not going to prove the claim. Wait. So I'm not saying you should go out and believe right now and become a Christian. What I'm saying is, if you go to the Harry Potter movie, as you watch it, you are involved in it fully. When you come out from the movie, or any movie, when you come out from it, you don't have to believe that Harry Potter was flying, but the moral, the ideas, the perceptions that you get from, if it's good or if it's interesting to you, the ideas that are brought there by the writer, you are going to understand. But if you're not gonna see the movie with the belief, if you're gonna just see the movie as if, oh, Harry Potter is never gonna fly, but this is a fake thing, well, you're missing the movie, you're missing the story. So what I'm suggesting you, I'm not suggesting you to believe in Christ this way. I'm suggesting you to read the story as if it was true. When you finish reading it, just as from the movie, you come out.
But the difference is people think the Bible literally happened. They think the Bible is literal history. No one is going into a Harry Potter movie and thinking that it literally happened.
Well, I'm not. It's exactly the same what I'm offering you. I'm not saying that you should go and believe literally. Okay, so what would happen? But have you done it? Have you ever tried
Okay.
to read
Can I
it
please
as if
interrupt?
you're watching the Harry Potter movie?
Can I please interrupt here?
Oh, sure.
I want you to
Somebody-
guess. I want you to guess the definition of what I'm about to, or guess the word or term that I'm about to describe. The tendency of people to seek out, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms their pre-existing beliefs.
Yeah, that's a bias, belief bias, or whatever. Maybe I'm not that. Okay, so let me. So it's
Sounds
tell-
like you're
tell me the
asking
term-
me to do that.
No, wait. First of all, there are two different things I want to answer you on that. First of all, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you to just read the story with the belief and see what it brings you. That's one. And what about the belief bias?
That's confirmation bias.
Okay,
if you're
so
telling me to be
confirmation bias.
open-minded,
Let me tell
that's
you.
completely
Let me ask
different.
Let me ask you. Now, please, open your heart and listen to this statement from me. How about confirmation bias being the confirmation bias itself? So people that think confirmation bias is there, how about confirmation bias? I mean, having the idea about confirmation bias becomes confirmation bias. So maybe there is no confirmation bias, but for you in your life, confirmation bias has become true because you have confirmed to yourself that the confirmation bias is true. So confirmation bias itself is a confirmation bias. Think about it. You find
I
out
think if we
once
say
in your life that there
confirmation
is a
bias like
confirmation
3 more
bias. And
times,
then
it
what
will
you
make
do,
sense.
you go out and seek for confirmation biases. And then you figure out that the confirmation bias is something that can harm you. What I'm telling you, just get rid of that idea and watch the movie. Watch the movie and enjoy the show as it is. Once you enjoy that show, once you understand those things, you don't have to believe in Christ. You just have to understand what it means to love your enemy, or what would it mean to do
But you
other.
can have all of those moral lessons and teachings without believing that the New Testament has recorded actual literal history, and that is the more problematic viewpoint. We can all vaguely
Sure.
agree that Jesus taught, the Good Samaritan how to be a kind person. That's fine. But the problem is that there are people who believe that the Bible is literal history, and so we ought to live accordingly, and that's the problem. If people
Okay.
were to go to Harry Potter and start dictating other people's lives because they thought Harry Potter was literal history, that too would be problematic.
Okay, so look.
That's such a mudblood thing to say.
Look, I didn't join this conversation to tell you and to prove to you or say that you should believe that it was true. All I wanted to say is that maybe the story about Good Samaritan or any teachings that you are reading there, you're not getting the point without, first of all, I mean, think about it like, how can you watch the Star Wars movie doubting that what you're seeing is there? Your mind is going to.
I'm hoping that's true of literally everyone. I hope literally everyone watches Star Wars thinking that, yeah, this didn't actually happen.
Well, yeah, but not during the watching. I mean, not when they are watching. So when you are involved in the movie, you forget even that you exist. If it's a good movie, you're so involved in the movie that you don't remember that you're in a theater. That's a good movie. So
I'm going to bed. Any questions before I go, everybody?
I was hoping that if we just said confirmation bias like 4 more times, it would begin to make sense.
Yeah.